Us now is Phoevos Pouroulis. He's the Chief Executive Officer of Tharisa to discuss the company's new listing on the JSE. Thanks so much for your time today. As we're just discussing off air that you managed to blow the kudu horn quite well, but the decision to list a platinum company right now at this particular time on the JSE, why?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here this morning to spend some time with you. Yeah, so timing is a question we've had fairly regularly during this process. We have a contractual obligation to a number of our shareholders to fulfill an IPO, and we've met that obligation. We're delighted to list on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We considered other exchanges historically, the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, we looked at London, and with the relaxation of the laws allowing foreign entities to inward list, it opened up the JSE for us, a market with which we're familiar. So very happy.
What about the timing?
Yeah, so we have, as I say, an obligation to IPO within a certain time frame, and we meet that, and that was our primary objective. Obviously, raising the capital was important for our optimization initiatives, which further enhance our project, which I'm very happy to take you through. It's a large-scale open-pit mine on the western limb of the Bushveld complex. It is the first time that the middle group reef horizons have been mined on a co-production basis, producing PGM concentrates and chrome concentrates. Large-scale resource, 835 million tons, open pit for 23 years, mechanized, labor force, skilled, so a lot of competitive advantages and long-term sustainable. So we're very proud of what we've achieved at the project.
Just that time again, and
yeah,
I don't want to harp on it too much,
sure.
but how much time did you have? We were talking earlier about perhaps this is not such a great time to be listing any platinum prospect. So you said you had a certain period. Was this kind of the deadline?
Pretty much.
Okay, so you had to do it.
Yeah.
So if you were able to rewrite the rules, I guess you would have waited.
Perhaps. But again, we believe in the fundamentals of the business. It's a sound project.
No, but when you've got a business and you list it, you sell it. You sell you're selling shares. You want to do it at the best possible price.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Except
but I guess in another respect, because we're often critical of new listings by saying the guys are mining the market. What you're saying to us, and particularly your family's had a very interesting experience here. First of all, Lefco, then you had Airlines Platinum as well, which the family did okay out of.
Correct.
You got a big chunk here too?
Yes, we're the major shareholders of Tharisa, and we see this as a platform for future growth. We are an operating asset, so I know you're going to ask me, are we going to sell it? We see it as a...
We've got a record of doing that.
Sure. No, but we're in production, we're producing, we sell, we have a mine-to-customer platform where we deliver our product to end users in China. So we've really built a solid foundation here at Tharisa, and it's not a new company. We've been working since 2006 when the first prospecting rights were granted.
You mentioned that you've managed to move to a mechanization kind of formula at your mine. How did you get there?
Well, we started off like that. By the virtue of being open pit, it's a mechanized mine. So we have that advantage.
So no, you're not fazed by the labor issues in the country?
No, of course. We watch it very carefully. We're in sort of the heart of the troubled area. And we monitor it, and obviously what's going on is very unfortunate in the industry, and we hope there's a resolution that comes to the forefront soon. In terms of our labor force, we are unionized, but fortunately we've had no disruption to our operation. We're with NUM, yes.
And I guess given that it's mechanized, your staff would be highly trained rather than having to go underground and
correct, yeah.
Pick and shovel. Is it a bit like Platte Reef, what they're talking about up in the north? Obviously you're in the western limb.
We're in the western limb. I think we like to compare ourselves more to Mogalakwena, sort of Anglo Platinum's flagship project. We're in the lowest cost quartile for PGM production and chrome production. We run our business as a co-producer, so we don't pass any credits from one commodity to the other. So we're very strongly positioned in terms of our cost base, and we see that as a sustainable advantage with the long life open pit and mechanized mining.
What else is the family doing? Your brother Adonis, what's he?
Well, you know, he's still the chairman of Petra Diamonds. He's involved in other businesses in Africa, very active in resources and mining.
And your dad, Lucas?
He's executive chairman of Tharisa. It's his vision that got us to where we are today. He understood that you could extract from the MG Reefs a co-production of PGMs and chrome concentrate. So he's very instrumental in the strategy and the vision, the growth of our business. He's 75 years old and he's still very active. You saw him.
Looking good, yeah. I saw him this morning. He's Lucas took me down Con's Modder mine years and years ago, and he doesn't look like he's changed much, hasn't aged much. Still as feisty as ever, I guess.
Feisty and active, yeah.
And then into the future, this is clearly a highly mechanized operation. Do you think this is the way that mining in South Africa might go?
Look, I think there has been a lot of talk about mechanizing mining. It depends on your ore body at the end of the day, whether it's amenable to mechanization and how far you can take it. You know, depending again where you are, at what depth. But I think it is something to be considered, yeah.
With the big platinum miners currently going through turmoil, would you be keen on picking up any of their assets?
Look, in terms of our growth strategy, we've clearly stated we'd look for opportunities that are similar in scale and attributes as Tharisa, which limits the options to open cast. We're not considering going underground in terms of future growth.
Outcrops, in other words.
Yeah, outcrops.
Have you got, clearly, we know how the Bushveld igneous complex works in this, almost like this big circle, big saucer. Are there other parts that, other outcrops that you could perhaps pick up elsewhere?
Potentially there's opportunities to extend the strike length. We have some 5.6 kilometre strike length in the open pit. So there is opportunity to potentially work in some form, a joint relationship with some of our neighbours.
And foreign investors, clearly you would have spoken to them. Are they excited about this alternative to deep level mining?
Yeah, definitely. It ticks all the boxes for them. It's a low risk, low capital, in production, mechanised mine. So yes, I think they see the positive attributes of the business. And importantly, it's not short-lived. It's not a 2-year open pit. It's 23 years of open pit.
Phoevos, just before we go, how's the market reacted this morning?
Look, the share has come off. I think there were some investors that needed to sell at listing, so we expected it to come off a little bit. But again, it's early days. We're here for a long time. We're committed to the business as a family, and we see great things in the future.